Hey everybody, welcome back. Today is March 24th, 2017. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name's Kepley. Hope you guys are having a good day. And in today's video, I wanted to cover the psychological aspect of stocks because that correlates with your emotions when you're investing in stocks. And I also want to tie that into carrying debt. Okay, and the reason why I'm covering this video today is because life can throw you some massive curveballs, unexpectedly. Okay, and from the beginning of this channel, when I started this YouTube channel, one of the number one rules to even getting started with investing is to make sure that you don't carry a whole lot of debt. Okay, I've been saying that for quite some time. As you guys know, I was debt-free for quite a while there. Unfortunately, just recently, I got a story for you here. My car that was paid off, I was driving that thing for about 3.5, 4 years, and it finally croaked on me. The engine went out. I went to talk to the guy to see if I couldn't get it replaced. He said it was going to cost like, thousands of dollars, and it wasn't even worth it compared to what the Blue Book value was of the car. Now, this doesn't have anything to really do with stocks, but it has to do with accruing debt, okay? Because what I had to do is I had to go out and buy a new car, and I needed emergency funds in order to do that. Well, if you recall my some of my previous videos, I talk about the buckets, okay? So, for instance, like you have 3 different buckets. So in the first one, you have your security bucket, okay? And that includes IRAs, retirement accounts, cash on hand. Okay, I've been covering that for quite some time now, and I keep saying you need cash on hand. The other one was growth. Okay, so high investment, growth stocks, things that'll pay you out passive income, that kind of thing. And then the third one was your dream bucket, which would be like your house, the boat, anything that you've been dreaming about having at some point in life that would go in your dream bucket. So with the security bucket though, cash on hand, I keep saying you need cash on hand in case something like this happens. Well, for me, fortunately, I'd been saving and putting aside a bunch of cash. I had about $1,200 in cash that I could throw down on a down payment for a car. Now here is where an investor thinks a little bit differently than other people. Just your regular retail investor through say like a 401k. Most people would probably just throw the $1,200 down and get a car payment going, right? Well, for me, I don't like car payments because that is, as long as you're paying money to a bank on a liability or something, or like, a mortgage or a car payment, and as long as that money is going to the bank, it's your liability because the money's coming out of your pocket. Okay, and I keep saying if you don't have cash or cash flow because you've got too much debt, you're never going to get started with investing. You're never going to be able to make your money start working for you. Now, I do have some hard assets, okay? I have silver, gold. I've got a couple different businesses that I'm trying to get off the ground, and those are paying me some passive income. It's not a whole lot, but it's enough, to where, it's going to continue growing. So I have more control with those than I do with stocks, and this is my main point in this video with the psychological aspect and the emotions, that are tied into investing with stocks. Guys, I'm going to let you on a secret here, okay? Stocks aren't real. Stocks are just digital ones and zeros like I've been talking about. And if you know this, then you should be able to take your emotions and put them on the back burner, okay? Put them aside because knowing that, you're investing in a company, you've never met these people, okay? You don't know anything about them really other than what's on their financial statements, and you know that it's in the form of currency, digital ones and zeros in currency form. When you know all this, okay, then you understand that it's not real. So there's no point in freaking out. Let's say if something happens to you, kind of like what happened to me while you're investing, okay? Now for me, I decided to go ahead and liquidate some of my stocks. I know the stock market's going to be coming down over the next year or two. If I stay in those those assets that I was in, those paper assets or stocks, chances were that the value of those was going to go down. Now, they probably were going to continue paying me out, but if things got bad enough, they could cut the dividend on it. Then if I turn around and try to sell, okay, when that happens, if it does happen, I'm not saying it will, but if it did, then I'm really shit out of luck, because now, I could probably take a 20% hit or a 30% loss on my money. And when I go to pull that out, I have less money now that I can try to pay off this debt or with the car payment. Now I'm in school right now, so I don't have a whole lot of money coming in from a full-time job. I'm working part-time, and I'm going to school almost full-time so that I can get my skill sets up, either start another business after I graduate or go in and work for someone else. But in the meantime, my main focus has been to create some passive income, invest in some paper assets with stocks while I obtain the hard assets and acquire those as well, and let the chips land where they will. Unfortunately for me, life went ahead and threw a right hook at me, knocked my car out, and I had to go get a new car, and I only had enough money to put as a down payment on a car. Well, that's unacceptable for me. I don't want debt. I want to be able to own my shit. Okay, I want to be able to own whatever it is I have. Because most people out here in America, I'd say 90% of them, don't own anything. They've got debt up to their eyeballs. I mean, with mortgages, auto loans, student loans, you name it, they're in debt to it. And I don't want to be one of those people, because if you're in debt, again, you don't have cash. And if you don't have cash, you can't build wealth, period. So, I wanted to get rid of that so that I can continue building my wealth. Okay, now that meant liquidating some assets. And is it hard to let go of those? Hell yeah, it's hard to let go of them. I mean, I had to sit and sleep on it for a couple nights, just thinking to myself, well, you could pay a car payment of $100. You can afford that, because I'm not going for a high-end car. I was just going for something that's going to get me by for the next 2 or 3 years. Low mileage, that kind of thing. So yeah, I could have paid $100 a month on a car payment, but I'll be paying it for the next freaking 2 years, trying to pay off the car, when I have the money right here that I can liquidate from assets and just go ahead and pay it off. Again, cash on hand. And that's the beautiful thing about investing with stocks, guys. When you're investing with stocks, if you need to liquidate, and let's say you do take a loss, which I did on a couple things, nothing big, it was like $60 here and $70 there. You can deduct that come tax time too. Okay, so your chances of getting money back from a tax return increase. Okay, so that's a beautiful thing about stocks as well. But honestly, just knowing what I know about stocks and paper assets and digital ones and zeros with the currency, and having a digital currency, just knowing what I know about that, I'm much better off cashing out on my stocks right now. And I'm pretty confident. That's how confident I am that the stock market is going to come down over the next year or two, due to all the geopolitical and tensions and uncertainties in the market. Okay, because people are spooked right now. They really don't know what's gonna happen with Trump and all that. So there's a lot of people out there who are selling right now, but a lot of it's built off of panic and fear. See, I don't have any panic and fear with the markets dropping. All that tells me is better opportunities, better buying opportunities, because prices come down at a much fairer value. And if you're somebody who's looking at investing in stocks right now, I would highly recommend just hold out. Hold out. If you have debt, pay the debt off. Pay that off first, because as long as you have debt and it's eating into your cash flow, you're not going to have any money to invest. Okay? Let alone put aside for a rainy day. And that is the key secret to getting started with investing. Okay? I know a lot of people get excited, they want to build wealth, but they don't take the time to build it up in the cash flow or pay off their debt to create the cash flow. They don't take the time to do it. They just, oh well, I want to invest, but I only got $75 at the end of each paycheck. I'm living paycheck to paycheck, and then they just sit there and they look at their $75 and they're like, well, shit, I won't buy anything, Again, a lot of that comes from inflation with prices increasing gradually over time as well, okay? And that's how the Federal Reserve can rob you and I of money out of our front pocket without us really knowing, what's going on, because we're not paying attention to the prices. And right now, the Fed needs inflation, okay? The stock market is begging for some inflation, and the prices need to rise. And we're starting to see that in the stock market, of course. If you notice, the prices are coming up on stocks and stuff like that. But it's going to have to come down. And that's what I would rather wait for. I'd rather pay off all my debt right now with the car that I just bought, because we just bought a car. My wife and I, we just bought it outright with cash, okay? And, at first she was like, well, don't worry about the car payment. And I'm thinking to myself, no, absolutely unacceptable. I do not want a car payment because it's a liability. The second you drive a car off the lot, it starts depreciating in value. It can break on you, whatever. And I want to be prepared for that next event that happens. It probably won't happen for me now for, I would say, at least a year and a half or two. Okay? And with that in mind, I can pay off the car, build up the cash. Guys, it was a $5,000 car, nothing big, about 65,000 miles on it. So it's going to last me, I would say, probably another easily 2 to 3 years. Okay? And didn't have any problems with it. And I'm thinking all along in my mind here, as an investor, well, let's go ahead and liquidate the stocks, the paper assets, and get this thing paid off. Screw a down payment. That being a down payment's nice, but it's not going to reduce my car payment, because your car payment stays the same. It might reduce the interest a little bit on what you're paying if you attack it aggressively and you have a car payment, but I didn't want to do that. I was like, fuck that. I don't want a car payment, period. End of story. So I went ahead and liquidated some stocks. No big deal. I'm not pissed off about it. It's kind of a bummer that I don't have the passive income coming in off of it, because it was paying me out about $20 a month. But that's not going to make or break me. Okay? So let's go ahead and drop, $5,000 on the car, get that thing paid off. Most people, when they get a new car, guys, and they're sitting there paying on this thing for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, hell, even 7, 8 years before they get it paid off. I'm going to have this thing paid off because I chose not to go with a really high-end car. All right, that was just simply a choice. I didn't care about looking fancy for everybody else and showing off. Didn't care about any of that. I just wanted a car to get me from point A to point B with low mileage, so that it could get me through the next year of school and some, a couple years after that as well. And I don't have a car payment. The only thing I'm going to have is car insurance and a phone bill, and then helping my wife pay off her mortgage. But that's really what this video is about, is being prepared for those rainy days. And getting back to the point here, security bucket first. Okay? If you're doing growth stuff, now see, here's the beautiful thing. With the growth investing and all the stuff that I was doing with those paper assets, that paper toilet paper money, it was money I could afford to lose. All right, so I didn't care. I could have lost it all in the stock market, and I would have been just fine with that. I probably would have sold before that happened, but it's, again, this should help you. What I'm telling you right now should help you in understanding that you do not want to carry any debt. And the other thing you want to really focus on is getting that cash flow up. And then if you decide to invest in paper assets like the stock market, realize it's not real. It is not real. All it is currency, digital ones and zeros, a digital currency. That's all it is. Okay? Now, does it spit off passive income for you in a paper asset and toilet paper money? Yes. Okay, so while that system is still in place, you can go ahead and utilize it for that. But if you run into a situation like me where you absolutely do not want a car payment and you want to stay debt free, don't be afraid to liquidate that stuff and kind of put your emotions aside and just keep moving forward. Okay? So I hope that helps you. If you're new to investing or you're somebody who's holding some assets right now and that fear's starting to set in a little bit with you, maybe because you realize you're losing some money on some paper assets or something like that, hey, just remember what I've shown you here in regards to my own situation, because, hey, things could be a lot worse, okay? That's all I have for today. These are today's Investors Investing Tips. You're tuning in to howtoplaystock.com. My name is Kepley, and I will talk to you guys later.